with me, Thandisa Mahe, kwinkqubo yakho yezoshishino Essence of Biz. And right this moment, we are going to be starting our conversation, which is around awareness on digital economic opportunities. This is actually a program that is brought to you by the Government Communication and Information System, which is CIS. And the purpose of the program is to create awareness around digital economy and opportunities available in the digital space. Today, we've got two guests that will be joining us, and that is Mr. Mawethu Tilimeni, who is an office manager from Universal Service and Access Agency of South Africa, USAASA, and also Ms. Karen Luyt. She's a senior specialist solutions architect from Business Connexion Group, BCX. I just want to find out from our first guest, who we're going to be engaging with, which is Karen. I just want to find out if she can be able to hear us from her end. Good afternoon, Karen, and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for having me. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. And then I think I will also go to Mr. Mawethu Tilimeni just to also find out if he can be able to hear us from his end. Mr. Tilimeni O'Connor? Mr. Tilimeni, can you hear us? All right. While we are trying to figure out why we are not able to hear each other, hopefully that is going to be resolved. Let me, in the meantime, proceed with Karen. Karen, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me give you an opportunity to greet us and to greet our listeners just before we jump right into the conversation.
Thank you very much, Thandisa, for having me and for the opportunity to represent BCX this afternoon. And hi to all the listeners. I hope you're having a great afternoon so far. Thank you.
Awesome. Ms. Tina, can you just help us to understand what is BCX and what is it that your company actually does? Sorry, Ms. Luyt.
Yeah, it's late, like in being late for work, but I try not to be late for work.
All right, yes.
Okay.
Proceed. Just by giving us a bit of background on BCX and what the company actually does.
Absolutely. BCX is one of Africa's leading technology and innovation companies and specializing in delivering cutting-edge digital solutions that empower organizations to operate with greater efficiency and agility. And as a full-service information and communications technology, or ICT, provider, BCX ensures businesses can focus on what matters most to them, namely serving their customers, building productivity, growing profits, and advancing their digital transformation journeys. So in this regard, we offer a comprehensive ICT service portfolio. It includes connectivity, voice and data, IoT or Internet of Things solutions, cloud solutions, advanced analytics, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence applications, the list goes on. But we also do digital transformation consultancy. And actually, if we look at our history, so Business Connexion was founded in 1996 by the twin brothers Benjamin and Isaac Mopatlane. And since then, it has grown from its humble beginnings to become BCX, a powerhouse in the technology sector. And following a merger with Complex Africa in 2004, its listing on the Joburg Stock Exchange, and its acquisition by Telkom in 2015, BCX now serves a diverse client base, from small startups to JSE-listed enterprises, as well as global corporations. And in addition, BCX has embarked on a strategic journey in support of a more flexible business model for our customers. And this cloud-first strategy provides business flexibility, scalability, and agility, not only for IT services, but for business services as well. And that, in a nutshell, is BCX.
Beautiful that you help us to understand and unpack the space within which you operate, the services that you offer, the support that you also provide to different businesses, from small scale to the larger entities. Now I want to understand, how would you say as a BCX you guys contribute to the development of the digital economy? Because that is, it's still a buzzword, and we are existing within that space. So how does BCX contribute in the development of the space itself?
Okay, well, BCX plays a pivotal role in advancing South Africa's digital economy by delivering innovative solutions that address the country's unique challenges while promoting inclusivity and security. And as South Africa undergoes digital transformation, it is essential to balance that rapid innovation with robust data protection and ethical technology implementation. As such, BCX provides the backbone for various sectors across South Africa's economy, and we contribute to the following areas. We deepening of the democracy. So we managed ICT requirements for 284 voting centres and linked them to the main voting station in the last national election. We actually fuel the economy. So we service 50% of South Africa's fuel stations. We distribute cash, enabling over 1 million cash withdrawals daily. And then in terms of retail, we support 176 million retail transactions per month. We even pay South Africa's workforce. So we process 1/3 of the country's pay slips, ensuring the seamless payment of salaries, including government officials through the partial system. We also enable medical prescriptions and claims by facilitating efficient medication management for South Africans. And additionally, BCX empowers public and private sector decision makers with AI-driven tools to extract insights, optimize resources, and improve service delivery. We also collaborate with academia, offering the Alibaba cloud training at universities, and this helps to prepare the workforce for the digital future. So all in all, BCX's ability to deliver secure, scalable, and innovative solutions has solidified its role as a trusted partner in the development of South Africa's digital economy.
All right. And when it comes to, I like the fact that you've mentioned different spaces and industries that you're able to touch on and you're able to contribute into as a BCX to enable, the functioning aspects of functioning of these different industries. Now, when someone who is listening to this program right now is thinking, you know what, maybe I am interested in getting into this kind of a space as well. Maybe a student or someone who's going to be, who's thinking about joining the industry. What career paths can one, consider if they want to also be part of the space? And also, are there any available opportunities that are within BCX right now?
Yeah, so the ICT industry is actually very interesting and diverse because you can get from highly technical to more engagement type roles. So technical can include like AI specialists, so AI, artificial intelligence, cloud engineers, cybersecurity, software developers, and the non-technical positions are like your project managers, stakeholder engagement, and business analysis. And I mean, contrary to the AI-fueled belief, humans will always have a role in ICT. As technology must be developed, it must be maintained, implemented with insight and creativity, which is human. So, for example, the business consultants and systems analysts ensure that technology aligns with business needs, while data analysts and data engineers bring customer-centric insights to life. And for each of these careers or roles, you will be able to find either related certificate, diploma, or degree courses. However, while formal qualifications are valuable to BCX, we also value alternative pathways such as self-learning, coding, boot camps, internships, and practical hands-on experience. And in addition, the ICT field actually places significant value on soft skills like problem solving, your critical thinking, collaboration, and adaptability. So in terms of opportunities, specifically, we offer various upskilling programs, mentorship opportunities through initiatives like the Explore Data Academy, and we prepare individuals for dynamic roles in ICT with current job opportunities actually regularly updated on our website, which is www.bcx.co.za, or else on our LinkedIn page. So that's where you'll find opportunities.
Awesome. And yes, you've covered what one can be able to do from the career perspective. And what about when it comes to business opportunities and partnerships? How can one be able to reach out and explore opportunities and partnerships with BCX?
Yes, Thandisa, we do have many partnership opportunities because collaboration is actually at the heart of BCX's approach to innovation and this whole digital economy. So we believe, especially partnerships between government, academia, and technology providers are crucial to addressing the public sector challenges and fostering digital transformation. So BCX has cultivated a whole ecosystem of global partners, enabling us to offer clients the best solutions and expertise from around the world. And by leveraging these partnerships, we provide cutting edge technologies and insights tailored to clients' unique needs. So, for organizations interested in collaborating with BCX as part of this whole ecosystem, BCX inquiries, business inquiries can once again be made through our website. So they're www.bcx.co.za. And we offer various partnerships models, including the Cloud Reseller Program and collaboration with our Telkom Future Makers to grow our enterprise and supplier development partners. So that there are many opportunities.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Karen, for that. I think we have seen a bit on how, BCX contributes within the digital economy and the digital space. Right now, I want to move on to Mr. Mawethu Tilimeni. I just want to find out if he can be able to hear us from his end. Karen, you can please mute your mic for now. Mr. Mawethu Tilimeni, can you hear us? All right, it would seem that we are not able to connect to Mr. Tilimeni for now. Mr. Tilimeni, are you still there? Probably it's a matter of he might be struggling to unmute his microphone on his end. We can see him. He is within the meeting right now. It is just that probably he's not able to unmute from his end. We're going to check if we cannot be able to ask him to unmute so that he can be able to contribute from his.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Tilimeni Ukona.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I was actually struggling. I don't know where to unmute this thing because I'm not used to Zoom. Only used to MS, Teams. So sorry about that.
We're talking about digital economy. I think it's
Yeah,
high time that you
yeah,
actually learn all the
yeah.
different
So
platforms.
yeah, so unfortunately, I think I've only used Zoom once in my life. You see, I've only been using
Please,
MS Teams. Sorry about that. Yeah.
please use it more, sir. Please use it more.
Zoom. Oh, if you've
Yeah.
got shares, it's fine. I'll do that.
Yes, I've got a
Mm.
slight percentage.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking. All right.
Okay.
Right. Let us allow you to give us briefly what is USAASA and what do you do, and just for the sake of people that might not be familiar with that abbreviation, that is the Universal Service and Access Agency of South Africa.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that, and also thanks to your listeners. Firstly, USAASA. Okay, let me give a brief background of USAASA. Why USAASA was actually formed. USAASA was actually formed. I think then it was called Universal Service Agency, not even USAASA. USAASA was only came into being around 2005. You see, when the 1996 Telecommunication Act was repealed. So before that, this was actually called Universal Service and Access Agency of South Africa. The Universal Service Agency. So its main role was actually to bridge the digital divide, because immediately after the dawn of the democracy in 1994, the government decided, to establish a structure like USASA to make sure that, people who live in the rural areas, for instance, you see, we don't have access, to state-of-the-art telecommunication services. So also must have some kind of, there must be a structure that will actually try by all means to bridge that digital divide. And then in the beginning, when the structure was established in 1996, they focused more on building what you call telecenters. Telecenters are more like, communities, ICT centers where you can go and do photocopying, printing and stuff like that. So then since then, it has evolved into a broadband, organization after the repeal of the 2005 Telecommunications Act. Now it's called Electronic Communications Act of 2005. So now USAASA is actually focusing more on rolling out broadband in underserviced areas because they've realized, and remember, we're talking about digital economy. So you can imagine that, this digital economy will never thrive without, a much more resilient, well-maintained and affordable infrastructure. So hence we're making sure that for the rural areas to be not left behind, you see. So we need to make sure that, we bring, we roll out a broadband infrastructure in the underserviced areas. So in a nutshell, that's what we do, okay?
All right, that is quite interesting. It makes me remember Mzinam, where I am I'm married to. They will keep saying a telecenter, there a telecenter. I'm like, what is this
Yeah,
telecenter all about? So now
yes,
I can actually connect where it
yeah,
actually
yes,
came
yeah,
from.
yes,
All right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and how does USASA contribute to the development of the digital economy?
Okay, thanks. As I explained earlier on, for the digital economy to thrive, you really need a resilient, a backbone infrastructure like the one that BPCS is also rolling out, for example. But unfortunately, companies like BCX don't actually reach the underserviced areas, in other words, the most rural areas. So hence, the government decided, to create a structure like USASA, for instance, to make sure that, um, telecommunication services are actually extended into those areas because you must also remember, for example, the role that broadband played, also in development of the economy. You see, there's so many studies that have been undertaken, countrywide, to look at the correlation between the telecommunication and the actual extension of telecommunication infrastructure into the rural areas and the GPE, the GDP. So it's a well-established fact that they're rolling out telecommunication services into the rural areas, and making sure that the majority of the population, for instance, got access to state-of-the-art telecommunication, actually has got a good economic spin-off. So that's one thing that actually drives us, drives us, in other words, to make sure that, if we really want to grow the economy, for example, ICT services, in other words, broadband services, needs to play a key role in making sure that people, especially in the rural areas, because remember, USASA is for the rural areas. You see, if you're talking about USASA, you're talking about an organization that's specifically designed, um, to look at the issues related to ICTs for the rural areas. So, in other words, we basically making sure that the people that are actually in the rural areas, the areas that, for instance, the Vodacom, the MTNs, and the CCs, even the BCX are actually unable to, to service because they say they're not profitable. USASA is there. And remember, we're a state-owned enterprise. We don't actually getting anything from everything that we actually provide to the rural areas. You see, we're doing everything for free of charge. We all want to see, the development of the digital economy. You can imagine, for example, if you've got access, to state-of-the-art telecommunication services. As a youth, for example, living in those areas where we've rolled out the broadband, you. The sky is more like the limit, you see. So you could do anything. You see, you can come up with any business that will require only, access to connectivity. For example, if you look at the businesses like Uber, yesterday I was doing the same interview. I was making exactly the same example. That if you look at, for example, the Uber is purely, a digital platform. You see, Airbnb is totally a digital platform. You see, so anybody, in other words, anywhere else in the world, as long as they've got access, to state-of-the-art telecommunication infrastructure, you can come up with any type of business that you want to run on the digital platform. Hence, we're making sure that no one should actually be left behind, because if we focus, because remember the Vodacom and the MTNs and even other companies, for example, including BCX, they're focusing more on the metropole because they say, those are the most profitable areas. We're not driven by profits, you see, which the only thing that drives us to make sure that, people in the rural area, they've got access, and then anybody with any idea, for example, can actually be able, to start up any kind of business on a digital platform. For an example, let's make a simple example, the simplest of all the examples. For example, the Wi-Fi that they roll out in the rural areas. We do what you call hotspots, and we connect spaza shops, we connect taxi ranks. Umama was actually running a spaza shop, you see, in the rural areas. But because people, they come, these days, people don't always carry cash, on themselves. So they probably have a card. So when you get into a spaza shop, you want to pay, but unfortunately you don't have cash, you only have a card. And Umama, fortunately, doesn't have the machine because there's no network, you see, because you can only operate, you can only operate the pay-phone machine when you've got access to telecommunications network. And then in an area like that, for example, it means that everybody always have to pay by cash. So in other words, inconveniences other people who don't always carry cash. So in cases like those, for example, you find that people are running spaza shop and they can have pay points and then use those pay points for people who actually don't always carry cash to use their cards to pay for whatever that they want to buy from the spaza shop. So that's the kind of things that we do, and those are the kind of spin-offs that we see coming from the rural areas after we roll out our network.
Right. All right. And I think it's quite interesting. And one would then be, ask the question, which areas do you choose? Like, how do you know which areas or public institutions you want to focus on and develop, and why do you choose those specific areas? Like now you're making an example of spaza shop. So which areas do you choose? Let's go and install infrastructure there and make sure that there is broadband available, there is access for the rural areas. How do you choose, and why do you choose those specific places and areas?
Okay, thanks for the question. I think the question is very, very important. The reason why I say it's important because there's always a confusion, for example, regarding what USAASA does and what other companies are actually doing. For example, in South Africa, we've got what we call broadband policy, which was, adopted by the cabinet, I think in 2013, if I'm not mistaken, around 2013. And the cabinet adopted the broadband policy, which is also called SA Connect policy. So the SA Connect policy is to make sure that it's also same vision as yourself, like to make sure that rural institutions like the clinics, the schools, they're all connected. They've got access, to state of the art, ICTs. So that policy was developed to make sure that those institutions are actually, but that one applies across the board. In other words, all institutions, whether they're based in the township or they're based in metropoles or in the rural areas, they are going to be connected. But of course, the priority is always rural areas. And then coming to USAASA, we're not an SA Connect. We don't do SA Connect. There are companies that have been specifically identified by government to actually roll out SA Connect, like BBI, for example, is one of them. I think the other one is also Centec. Centec is also one of them. USAASA is not we're not a SA Connect, organization. What we do, we try by all means to make sure that those areas, for example, that are really not necessarily not part of the SA Connect, because in some areas we find that there's also some SA Connect, in other words, SA Connect sites, in other words, connected by the organization that I've just mentioned. So yes, USAASA, we making sure that there's a broader telecommunication infrastructure. You see, in other words, we don't just go to a specific institution and see connect, like a school or a clinic, see connect. We are making sure that there's network almost everywhere. Because remember, for you to be able to connect a clinic or any other government institution located in the rural area, first you need an infrastructure that's going to go there so that you can be able to connect those those institutions. So we making sure that we actually extend the infrastructure from where it's located, which is the barebone infrastructure. For example, if you're talking Port Elizabeth doesn't really have rural areas in and around it. But if you go to places like Umtata, for example, in Umtata, the barebone infrastructure, in other words, the main infrastructure is actually in Umtata. For you to take that infrastructure to Enguza Hill, Port St. John's, you need to build a network, you see, transmission network to transmit with the signal from all the way from Umtata to the rural areas in Enguza Hill. You see, so that's what we do in USAASA. You see, we make sure that, we extend our infrastructure into those areas. Once you get to those areas, then you can actually start looking for institutions that you can actually connect, like schools, clinics, etc., etc. And then it can come directly to your question, because I think that's a very important question. How do we identify these areas? How we identify these areas? ICASA, we've got ICASA. ICASA is a state. It's also a state institution, which regulates the entire telecommunication industry. For you to operate in this telecommunication space, you need a license from ICASA. You see, you cannot be able to operate from ICASA without getting you cannot be able to operate in this space, the telecommunication space, without getting a license from ICASA. So you need to apply for a license from ICASA so that you can be able to operate. So ICASA is the one that actually did a comprehensive study. It's a comprehensive study done by ICASA to identify, to determine areas that are really, really underserved in terms of ICTs. For example, rural areas, if you without even having done the study itself, that rural areas are the most, impoverished, are the most disadvantaged when it comes to ICTs. So we get the list from them. We don't just go anywhere, for example, where we want to go. We actually guided by the underserviced areas that were gazetted by ICASA as underserved areas.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I've answered your question.
Yes, you've answered it.
Okay.
At the end, you did answer it ultimately.
Yes. Yeah. I realized, okay.
You're taking the long route. All right.
Yeah.
Before we run out of time, we've got about 3 minutes, and I want to give Miss Luyt just an opportunity for her last words and her final contribution to the conversation. Just before we let her go, then I'm going to come back to you once again, Mr. Tilimeni.
Yeah, thanks, Thandisa. And at BCX, just as a closing statement, our purpose is to reinvent the customer experience, innovating solutions for how people learn, live, and work. And this is more than a statement. It is really a call to action, also for our employees to make their work meaningful. How we live, learn, and work directly influences BCX's success and the well-being of those we serve. So as part of the Telkom Group, BCX is committed to enabling South Africa's digital economy and transformation, bridging divides, partnering with companies like USAASA, and building capacity, ensuring the future is innovative, inclusive, and secure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Luyt. That was a mouthful. Mr. Tilimeni, if you can just give us your last words, and as you do that, you've got 1 minute, and maybe you can throw in a word to someone who wants to get into the digital space, a word of advice as well. Mr.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. So sorry, I missed the question. What was the question again?
I was saying in a minute, could you just give us your last words and also maybe throw in a bit of advice there to say if someone is interested in the digital space, what should they keep in mind?
Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay. Thanks for the question. Yeah, well, the opportunities in the digital space are quite endless, you see. But I think as I've said, the most important thing is to make sure that you've got access, to and resilient in the state of the art telecommunication, infrastructure. So the opportunities are there, and I also advise people, for example, who've got an interest, to work with USAASA, or probably to understand more what USAASA is doing, and also what can benefit from USAASA, even in terms of tenders. You see, let me put tenders. Yeah, but of course, tenders. So use our website. There's a lot of information there that you can actually use. Use our website, which is www.usaasa.org.za. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you to both of you, Ms. Luyt and you, Mr. Tilimeni.
Thank you so much.
Time. We appreciate it. All right,
Okay,
Kimpulo,
thank you so much.
of Organic Community Radio. That was a conversation that is brought to you by Government Communication and Information Systems, GCIS, wanting to just create awareness around the digital economy and the opportunities available in the digital space. Joining us, we were joined by Mr. Mawethu Tilimeni and also Ms. Karen Luyt, Mr. Tilimeni being from USAASA. If you want more information on USAASA, you can go to their website, www.usasa.co.za, and also you can go to BCX to find more information over there. That's the institution that Ms. Karen Luyt is from. You can find more info on www.bcx.co.za. Right now, we're going to be taking a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Let's market day kwa spa hapo amaxabiso afikeleka khona kodwa uLestart fumana iyo butcher by Spa Beef Goulish or Stir Fry